Welcome to our series, Breaking Through for Mission Advantage, where we look at how the strategic shift to integrated software-defined IT platforms can help agencies achieve greater mission outcomes. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and here to talk about how the Department of Defense is redefining optimization and modernization by prioritizing a software-defined approach to network management is Rob Vietmeyer, the Department of Defense's Chief Software Officer. Rob, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, White, thanks for having me back. I know we've worked in the past, so I'm excited to work with you on getting this message out today.
Terrific. Well, let me start by asking, set the stage a little. What are the key advantages that the Department of Defense is seeing by implementing a software-defined approach for IT investment to improve mission outcomes?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you look at the world around us, this is not unique to the department. And it was over a decade ago that Mark Andreessen stated that software is eating the world, really as this reflection of the transformative power that software is bringing and the pervasive influences of reshaping industries, economies, reshaping our daily life. So we see that today, and no sector and industry has been immune to this, including national defense. So we have the examples, retail where, shopping's been changed by, Amazon and Etsy and traditional brick and mortars, transportation with Uber and Lyft, media, TV watching from 10 years ago and movies and music have completely been transformed by our streaming platforms. So if you look at it, it extends to hospitality, finance, healthcare. So this is not unique to the department. But what is really important here is that the trend is clear that software is not just about creating new efficiencies, new conveniences, right? It's actually redefining entire industries. It's setting new norms and new expectations. And failure to recognize and adapt can become, the risk of becoming obsolete. And so if we look at traditional warfare, we're in the same transformation, right? So it's no longer purely about physical prowess. Digital modern warfare is deeply intertwined with our digital capabilities, and software modernization is the department's effort to make sure we are adapting and accelerating our innovation, our capabilities into this new reality. So we've done. 2 years ago, we put in place a strategy, and the deputy secretary came back and said, I love the strategy, but I need an actionable implementation plan. Earlier this year, we defined the implementation plan, really focusing on 3 areas, our cloud infrastructure and extending our computing fabric across the globe, building on our software factory ecosystems, and then realizing that this is not just about technology, and rarely is technology the hardest part about it. It's this cultural change of how we move, how we change to get there. The third part of it was how do we put in place the processes, the new capabilities, the workforce mechanisms that need to be in place to drive this transformation.
Well, and to put that in perspective, talk a little about what you and your discussions with leadership sound like in discussing, what's the consequence to, the mission of the Defense Department by not making these shifts to a more software-defined world?
Yeah, it was interesting, so I went to, playing around with ChatGPT and our new, software and AI capabilities. So I went and asked, given what's happening in the world, what is, that question, what's the consequence, right? It came up with one word. It was catastrophic, right? So it's like borders versus Amazon at the national defense level. But, we're not going to reach those extremes, right? We are ahead in the department. We have the awareness, we have our efforts, we have resources being directed towards driving this modernization. We're seeing many programs that have been on the front edge of this, adapting these tactics, techniques, these technologies, really changing and showing the example of what's possible in the world and the defense world as we move forward in some really amazing ways. We're continuing to put in place the key foundation to not only support those on the cutting edge, but make this the default model for the department. So if I were to, go deep a little bit on some of the pieces, so we are extending, our cloud fabrics out to the tactical edge. We're making investments now in solving some of the gaps out in the Oconus region. If you think about cloud, really what that is, it's software-defined computing infrastructure. So we are building the cloud as our software-defined computing infrastructure. We're building that on our networking enhancements that we're building. So software-defined networking coming into place. We are building out the software components. So using open standards like Kubernetes and containers to really capture a set of reusable components that where we've done the security assessments, people can download these with a level of assurance and reuse these software in ways that have proved problematic in the past. And then we're tying it all together with another software layer called infrastructure as code. So we are actually building out infrastructure as code, which is software that can stand up your cloud environment, can install your software applications, can build out your software factory, continuous integration pipelines, configure those to DOD policies and cybersecurity concerns, can turn on defensive cyber operations. And we can do this in a push of a button now. And we've demonstrated with real world military operations, where we had folks in the military department's command pants thought that standing up something new might take 6 months, a year. And we were able to do it in, days, push button, stand up, here's your environment, bring your mission into this. So it's really, really fascinating to see. And then, tying this all together with our migration towards zero trust, and really the foundation that's starting to mature is our software factory capabilities across the department.
That's some impressive progress. Talk to me a little, if you would, about the impact that software-defined approach is having on the Defense Department. You've outlined many of the gains that you've made, but can you talk a little bit about how this approach to optimization and modernization is translating into better mission outcomes?
Sure, absolutely. And this is, for me, the most exciting, because I've been working on this journey for a little while now and putting in place the foundation that was necessary. But now to see what is actually emerging in the defense mission space is really, really exciting. So, and there's a lot of examples, but I'll highlight one that was just got some press last month, and it was the Air Force, the Air Force Material Centers. And they've been doing a lot of work with the software modernization journey, building out their software engineering groups, supporting the Air Force weapon systems. And in the past, they were able to demonstrate an F-16 landing with more capabilities than it took off with by pushing software updates. The most recent example, so last month, they were able to demonstrate an F-35 flying with software applications originally developed for the F-22. So looking at, this now getting towards a shared software baseline for tactical software across our stealth fighter fleet. And not only were they able to take software originally from one aircraft to the other, they were able to demonstrate the ability to rapidly update that software. So within 24 hours, the team at Hill Air Force Base was able to update and modify and test and make sure that the software was good to go. Push that out to Edwards Air Force Base, put it on F-35, and within 24 hours have that F-35 flying with this new software baseline. So this is like a real game changer, because now we're looking at, the ability to get uniform software across the military aircraft, really becoming this foundation for our joint all-domain command and control sorts of environments, as you look at how do we pull together data and capabilities across the defense environment. We now can, demonstrate the ability to source software from a wide range of providers, not just the original aircraft manufacturer. We can get it from government, from industry, continues to drive innovation at cycle rates that are, rather than 6 months or years for updates, we're now at 24 hours, so 30 to 60 times faster than before. So if you look at what's emerging here, this kind of like the Apple CarPlay for, tactical software on stealth fighters, right? And there's a lot of examples. I'll say that, the Navy ships, we have demonstrated the ability to run Army software on the Navy surface fleet. And so this is just one example of the changes we're starting to see about how we're really getting to agile, how we're really becoming digital native, and the military advantages that we can achieve moving forward.
Those are very impressive examples. Thank you for sharing that. Lastly, I'd be remiss in not asking a little bit about DevSec Ops. And can you talk a little about examples of where this software-defined approach is also helping create a more integrated environment for secure software development into your various program activities?
Sure. So, through these examples, it's we can make it seem like we have completed the mission. I will tell you that this transformation is hard. It's a significant culture change where we're looking at not just the technology, but the need to, synchronize across the people, the process, a really comprehensive approach. The other challenge is as we move from our traditional approaches, from acquisition to cybersecurity, to you name it, to these new approaches, we need the ability to continuously balance security with agility. And as we move into this new space, as we move to adopt zero trust, we're finding that there are new cybersecurity challenges. We are facing new threats. We are seeing our adversaries go after our development environments and our supply chains in ways that we haven't seen before. So we need to start to extend from just looking at securing our production environments to looking back through the supply chains, to really making sure that we're hardening our continuous integration pipelines, that we're hardening our software supply chains. Right now we're seeing, I think last year we saw 70 new common vulnerabilities and exploits, CVEs, identified per day. We know our adversaries are, every time a new one pops up, they are immediately attempting to exploit those against the Defense Department. In the past, we had processes where we'd say, hey, CVE, we now need to get an update. It might take, months to get an update. We need to move to hours when a new CVE to determine if that CVE is exploitable, to determine the risk, and then immediately push patches out to our weapon systems, our IT systems. So we're seeing this transformation where we're trying to balance the speed, the security, the resilience needed for the department's mission. We are working on changing processes with things like our continuous authority to operate, CATO, as we're really transforming our traditional risk management approaches to this new reality. And then we're also working now on some new policies to make sure we're getting after our software supply chains and really able to harden these software factories to a level that can give us assurance for the execution of the defense mission.
Well, it certainly sounds like it's an exciting time to be working in IT and security in the Department of Defense. Well, Rob Vietmeyer, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you for sharing some of your insights and importantly, just the progress that's being made by taking a software-defined approach to IT in the Department of Defense.
Yeah, I appreciate this opportunity. I really want to say thanks to our industry partners, to the community that's working with us. This is a major transformation for the department and across the department, whether you're making a small to large. I really appreciate the work that's going into it. It's really critical for the department, and I'm really excited about the work that's being done. So appreciate the opportunity.